say drummer or trauma?
Trauma. I thought you said trauma.
Yeah. Well, not a fine line. Not much between the two.
We can talk about the trauma maybe.
Yeah. Trauma is a German word.
Trauma is dream, isn't it? Yeah.
I think that's the only word in the English language that I'm aware of.
Tell you what, I can find out the origins by looking at the Oxford English Dictionary.
Yo.
That's also a German word.
Yo.
Yo, yeah. Yo. It's more a field recording sound, and then it's kind of been. Then we just selected bits from that and put songs over the top. So it's more. It's kind of like a recording of not that long period of time. It's whatever. Basically, we had a stereo recording, and whatever I guess, whatever sounded more cohesive, and it was pretty obvious what was more cohesive, and what I felt like I could improvise, make a song over, was what we gravitated towards, and then from that collection of moments in the recording, and some of those selections that we had were actually just moments of talking or weird sonic things that happened. So like somebody went really close to the recorder and there's something else. There was a collection of all sorts of odds and bits and bobs, and it's through what the strongest material was it dictated the rest of the album, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So what was good for us in this process is that we were really, the recordings dictated to us what could happen, and that the only control that we could really have was making decisions about what songs that went in, and like seeing if I'd done decently over the top. I think that actually it wouldn't have been that different, because we all play our instruments in a certain way, and we play with each other with a certain sensitivity. So even the second day wouldn't have been that drastically different, I wouldn't say, in terms of what we were choosing to do, because we did a few days of playing, and it's not mad different. The selection within it's quite long, and within it there's quite a few different angles and directions that the record could have taken, actually, out of the selection we made throughout that jam. Does that make sense?
Yeah, there's so much stuff.
So maybe you are right that the next day could have been totally different.
Yeah,
I don't think it
also
would have been totally.
Some of the songs might not have been good enough if we'd practiced them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but in terms of the jams, I think it was one of the middle jams, and what was nice is that we weren't just like, okay, here we go, like we're back on our instruments. It was a couple of days into that, so we were sort of a bit more like locked in. Anything after that was too confident. It was one of the middle jams.
Oh, was it?
It wasn't the very first one, and it wasn't the final one. It was like it was.
No, it wasn't a later one. The later one.
No, not at all.
I mean, that's the point of the.
What was A then?
A was like.
Relaxing and stuff was
Because
first.
that's
That was the
that's
first jam.
It was the first jam.
Yeah. Because I only had 3 sounds in the rehearsal, and that's why like C
Less
you
fast.
had your bass.
Yeah.
You had your bass with you.
Yeah, mate.
Ah, yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
It's more, in my mind, it's an electronic version of more of a jazz approach or something, where it's improvised and it's more kind of, and I'm talking where jazz got a bit freer, or maybe was a bit more loose in some ways or something. Maybe that's a bad comparison, but I don't think it is. In that, you alongside those eras of jazz, that were quite open-ended, amazing musicianship and a lot of practice, but not necessarily much practicing the tune. Alongside the tight pop records that were getting done at the time, it was quite a contradiction. I suppose now, in things that I guess are equivalent in terms of freedom and stuff, and practicing outside of recording, like just say a lot of rappers that I like on YouTube or whatever, for instance, Like everything is done. There's quite a lot of mistakes in it. People are used to hearing samples of things that aren't like necessarily good quality, and YouTube, the quality of YouTube is so varied as well, and like what goes on there and things like that. Your ear is ready for different things, opposed to it. You know, it is it's kind of a film called, you know.
I just cannot see it. I think the amount of time we put into finishing them, the finished, I think, is the aesthetic. I think that maybe people are hearing the aesthetic as opposed to like finished sounds like maybe we should have done more, but I think the choices we made about sticking with the sound and those the performances and the sound and the structures are so mixed together in this like close-knit thing, because they were just from a stereo recorder that finished, you know, the endings are supposed to be where they're supposed to be, and the beginnings are like it's like a family. It's like, you know. Do you know what I mean?
No, it is. We've been working together for ages. It's just also you get used to.
It's like a family, like Uncle Bob. You know, you might not love him to. No, I love my.
I love Uncle Bob.
I love my Uncle Bob.
Man.
Uncle like Harry, you might not get on with him. Great. Well, we got on together great.
No,
Bad analogy.
Harry's alright. Come on, give
Terrible, terrible analogy.
Uncle Harry's alright.
Uncle Harry's alright. He's alright.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's not a that, and the way this album's been made is even more of a reflection of how much of a collaboration it is. All I did was sing on this, really. I'm not even playing in half of it. And that's true. But then I suppose we just went with what our name was, because what happens in the industry, or the fucking business of it, is you put a record out and then the gigs are booked, and we're just a step behind every time in terms of changing it. And the more you change it, actually in some situations, sometimes, anyway, short answer.
Oh yeah.
Someone really needs to get hold of her.
When I'm ringing someone, I'd probably give up by now.
Yeah. Maybe it's an alarm.
Yeah. If quite honestly, like either thousands and thousands of people screaming, having the time of their lives, or 50 people having the worst night of their life in a pub. No, I mean, but you know what I mean, yeah. With the wind blowing out, it's like that. Playing live we've had to work it out back from there, and I guess for me, for us, more at the moment, we're getting drawn to things that are more physically, from my perspective anyway, more physically, it's more a rhythmic thing, I suppose. Yeah. Oh baby, it's alright. You won't
On the album, we didn't really get a chance, because of the way we recorded it, and we left the jams completely untouched, and we didn't get a chance to practice them or whatever. And now when you play them live, you get to practice them, and then you do a gig and you're like, oh, maybe we should do it like that, and maybe we should do it like that would feel better, or but we didn't get to do that on the record.
playing live at the moment for us, I'd say is much more about. Before we've done things that are much shorter and changed feel halfway through, and have been quite loop based actually, but been quite time wise have shifted about a bit more. And nowadays we're it seems like what we're doing is a bit slower and seems to be quite repetitive in that sense. And
it is amazing actually in some songs, like over the last, I'd say like 10 gigs or so, the proper loopy bits, there's certain 3 or 4 bars in different sections where you get like a whoop from the crowd. Whoop! It's like where they feel it inside them. We've been playing the same thing for about 25 bars, but within a few bars in there, people respond in the same way, and it's fascinating.
It's amazing.
Because I think that I feel it, and we feel it in the same moment as well, but the music's exactly the same, like. But that's come from a whole different direction in terms of, I mean, I personally feel like I've come back full circle and can now be incredibly playful and instinctive within each performance of each song, in the same way that I was in those original jams. Whereas there was a time, maybe like in the sort of middle 25 gigs, where I was just trying to learn, as we all were, maybe how to play these songs live, because they were snippets of time that we appreciated for its aesthetic in a recorded medium, but to play them live, and even amongst ourselves, we were still finding our way into. And we also tried, it was also slightly daunting, that whole experience, because we tried to practice those songs very early on after the initial jams, to think about going into a studio to record them, and it didn't seem to fit.
Did we take it that far? We were never going to go into a studio, I don't think.
We were. We practiced like 3 or 4 songs.
No, we were just
going to re-record them.
So it was a bit of structure. We weren't ever going to go and record them.
We were going to re-record them on the edit.
You're forgetting the interview story we've been doing, and you're evaluating it. You're extending it into another realm. Don't you remember? And then you ran off with that cyclist.
Oh yeah. And then I jumped on the back of his trolley.
So that's exactly.
And we got a pint of milk.
Yeah, well, it's a funny story really, because what's happened is that I've lost my sight over the last 20 years, and what happened is that I've got this lens, and then it's all scratched up, and it's scratching my eye up, so I've only got one in, so I can't see anything, and I can see more, and then my glasses. That's what happened to my glasses. But luckily, there's a lens in this one, not in that one. So it's actually working out, because I can see out of that eye, and this eye is, I can see out of this one.
In a way, this is quite comical, because we did that along like 2 years ago, and now it's like you're gonna do basically what we did. You put something, you're just recording it all, and you're going to edit this, I guess.
I guess so too.
So it's
I hope
kind
so.
of yeah. And so you're doing the same thing that we did, and have it. Yeah, when you just reminded. So, my point is, that was my point.
Really sorry, I'm in like a dream world.
Cool.
Yes.